It always hurts a little when you go back to a game you fondly remember, only to find out it's not quite as good as you thought it was. I think we've all been there. And that seems to be the case with today's game, Battle Tycoon Flash Hider's SFX. This Super Famicom exclusive sequel to the PC Engine gem, Flash Hiders, is not without its merits, but it falls just short of some of the Major League fighters on the system. Before I dive any deeper into the game, let me be clear and say that this is by no means a bad game. As a matter of fact, Right Stuff's efforts churned out quite a serviceable fighter that helms some fascinating features which we'll get into later. But for all of its strengths, a few small but important follies hurt the game's overall appeal. But enough stalling, let's get down to brass tacks. Or should I say, brass knuckles. Flying fireballs, screen-spanning spin kicks, and anamorphic bestial attacks are only some of the wild happenings you'll see, as each character boasts a sufficient lineup of moves. You have the sword-wielding Pachette, whose range is as deadly as her animalistic tendencies. There's the half-man, half-tank Guston, whose size and strength is nothing to scoff at. And how about the most 90s-sounding character ever, Bang Viper, whose fists of fire and fast-paced maneuvers will send you flying to the ground if you're not careful. I can easily say that the game's roster is fleshed out with a great cast of varied fighters, all with unique themes and movesets. Of course, it wouldn't be a fighting game if there weren't crazy specials to unleash upon your foes. We also have some over-the-top and impactful throws. Not to mention that the shoulder buttons are dedicated to back and forward dashes to get you out of harm's way, or to keep an impressive offense on your rivals. On top of these fights sits a reasonably pretty paint job. The lavish stages host many inspiring backdrops ripe with detail, some better than others. I mean, just look at the emerald glow of these lit up glass panes in this futuristic utopia. How about the magenta wash that shrouds the seedy underbelly of this post-apocalyptic bar? Or the rolling hills that bring life to the backdrop of this mountainside town? And I have to note certain background details like these massive statues way off in the distance of Tyria's stage that are actually home to Harmon's stage. It's the little touches like that that make the world of Flash Hiders feel more connected and lived in than most other fighters of the time. Also, I must admit that this brought to mind Super Mario Sunshine and how you could see different levels in various areas on Isle Delfino. The game is also run amok with that 90s edge, and I mean quite literally. Just look at these anime designs. They're so 90s, it's awesome, and it 100% adds to the charm of this forgotten fighter. To cap things off, the real curveball that Flash Hiders throws at you is the addition of the Advance mode, which manages to combine not only fighting game mechanics, but RPG and gambling tropes as well. In this mode, your character can roam the city and participate in Coliseum battles to earn money that can go towards upping your stats for future duels, or if you're feeling lucky, you can gamble it all away betting on fights. That's right, this game allows you to make salty bets way before salty bets was even a pipe dream. As you can imagine, this is quite fun, as watching two AIs duke it out while your money is on the line will keep you on the edge of your seat. Other than that, if you need to satiate your lust for violence, you can always get into street fights while the arena is closed at night. While there isn't a whole lot to this mode that you don't already get from the base game, I can't lie and say that I don't have fun with it. It definitely helps squeeze some extra mileage out of the game and offers a good challenge for those up to the task. Unfortunately, as much as I have praised the game, I have to admit that the combat, while serviceable, does have its fair share of missteps, especially when you put it up against its competition at the time. Now, I know I use this comparison a lot, but Street Fighter II is the benchmark to which you can compare just about any fighting game of the time to. And when you stack Battle Tycoon up against it, it's undeniable that Flash Hiders is lacking that smoothness found in Street Fighter combat. As I'm sure you know, Street Fighter has that specific ebb and flow that plays into the timing and impact of every move. and in my most recent experience, Flash Hiders is sorely lacking that smoothness. For example, I found myself trying and constantly failing to execute simple combos that Street Fighter play is built around. The trouble stems from the jump physics, which are a touch too floaty, and the fact that the air attacks feel slightly delayed or aren't as accurate as I'm used to doesn't help. I should point out that these problems vary between characters, as some are floatier than others, and turning up the speed in the options does help tighten things up ever so slightly. Regardless, the whole time I was playing, I couldn't shake the feeling that this game wasn't nearly as fluid as a classic match in Street Fighter, or even other contemporaries on the system like Gundam Wing Endless Duel or Fighter's History. But to put it into perspective, Battle Tycoon isn't nearly as stiff or janky as other games I've reviewed like Natsuki Crisis or Battle Master. While Battle Tycoon Flash Hiders SFX may not deliver a groundbreaking fighting game experience, or hold up as well as I hoped it would, it certainly has enough substance to fill your plate and garner a recommendation from yours truly. Price-wise, it seems the game hasn't changed much in the 9 years since I nabbed my copy, as loose carts are still sitting around the $12 to $15 mark. Add an extra $30 to $50 if you strive to own a boxed copy, which, if I'm being honest, is definitely worth it for that box art alone. With its charming graphics, appealing movesets, and inventive characters like the magical staff-waving Tyria or Kung Fu Vampire Cena, Battle Tycoon Flash Hiders SFX is sure to keep you engaged long enough to have a modicum of fun. So why not give it a shot the next time you have the itch to go one-on-one with a fighter? Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this episode, consider checking out these other videos right here, or even subscribing. Also, if you'd like to throw me a couple of bucks, you can support the show on Patreon.